Hi, I'm Jack Trimpey, founder of Rational Recovery. I'd like to welcome you to the studio of Rational Recovery Productions. We'll be spending the next 12 hours or so in this room, along with a man named Tom. In the summer of 2000, Tom called the Rational Recovery office to inquire about enrolling in AVRT, the course. He had been addicted to alcohol and other drugs for many years, since his teen years, and had been in trouble with the law and had tried everything to end his addiction, including several addiction treatment programs, seeing counselors, and attending countless meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. Tom and I ran into a scheduling problem caused by his job, so we made a deal. I would offer him the full AVRT, the course, and he would grant permission to Rational Recovery Productions to produce this set of videotapes. This was the deal of the century. Tom recovers from his addiction, and you get to see exactly how he did it. I would like to thank Tom right now for you and many other viewers for helping us to produce this set of videos. Certainly, this is the most significant documentary in the entire field of addiction recovery, because for the first time ever, you can watch a human being actually recover from substance addiction. When you see it, you can do it. AVRT, by the way, stands for Addictive Voice Recognition Technique, which is the common thread of addiction recovery in a brief educational format. AVRT is set forth fully in this book, Rational Recovery, The New Cure for Substance Addiction. This is the only book that explains exactly how to quit drinking or using drugs. Be sure to read this book along with viewing these videos to lay the best foundation for your AVRT-based recovery. Make yourself comfortable and be sure to block out some time so that you can finish watching this epical documentary within 1 week. Get ready to have some amazing insights into the nature of addiction, your addiction, and your own recovery. Of course, I know what you're about to see. I was there, and I was a part of it. Frankly, I think that you should be very excited, alive with hope for yourself, even if you've been discouraged many times over in your own unsuccessful attempts at recovery. I also think that you'll get to like Tom, even root for him as he takes on his voracious beasts. You will quickly realize that however Tom is different from you, Tom is you in many other ways. And as he falters and then triumphs, so will you. This is the beginning of your recovery, no matter what you've done before, no matter what substance you're addicted to, or for how long, no matter how many groups, shrinks, or meetings you've been to, and no matter what other problems you may also have. My aim for you is the same as for Tom: complete recovery within the time it takes to view these videos. Already, you may feel some apprehension, a stirring of anxiety, because you know that your drinking or using days are about over. Ending an addiction feels good, but it also feels bad, as you will soon see. Be sure that you're not drinking or using drugs during the time that you view these tapes. I assure you, it'll be a waste of your time. Anyone can temporarily quit drinking or using, and you've done it many times yourself. So, before going on with AVRT Live, be sure that you won't be drinking, at least until you've finished viewing the tapes a few days from now. By then, you will have replaced this temporary abstinence with permanent abstinence. Once again, if you are now under the influence of alcohol or other drugs, hit the rewind button on your VCR, and Tom and I will be waiting for you when you return, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to get to work on the problem that you want solved. If recovery now is what you want, I know you can do it, and there's little doubt that you'll succeed.
I'm very nervous.
Good.
Very nervous about this.
We'll be sitting here for a good number of hours. And On one hand, it's a lot of time. On the other hand, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what people usually think of with recovery from an addiction. It's considered to be a lifetime involvement. The actual recovery part of this is really just a very short, brief experience. This is day one, and what I'm going to do for the next couple of hours is set you up with the information that you need to go straight on through to recovery. It takes some information, though, because we live in a culture that makes it very difficult for people like you and me and the crew here. Makes it very difficult to recover from an addiction. Part of your recovery is going to mean contradicting or overcoming the cultural beliefs that keep you stuck in the mud. How long have you been drinking?
Since I was 7 years old.
7 years. What did you start to drink?
I think my first drink was a beer and then tequila. My father got me drunk on tequila.
Yeah.
And
he poured it into you, or?
No. Well, he offered it to me and I drank it.
He allowed you to get yourself drunk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't drink, constantly at that age, of course. It was just one of those things where once in a while we'd go out on the river or something like that, or once a month we'd have a couple beers. Like, the boys could have a couple beers. It was just constantly available, and it was always there, and it was always an okay thing to do.
Part of the good life.
Yeah.
Part of the man's life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go out and rip roaring, have a few beers, and
Damn
pile
right.
at the moon.
Damn right.
And,
it is.
I never thought there was anything wrong with it. Until I saw my mother, I realized that, there is alcoholism. I lived through it for years with her. Didn't know it until I was, 9 or 10 that's what it was.
What, she drank too much, or what?
She drank constantly.
Mm-hmm.
She was a 24/7 drunk.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, she probably still is.
Oh, she's still drinking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why did she do that?
All I can think of is she cannot face herself. She's running from the truth of her own life.
Something psychological?
Yes, definitely. And she's had nervous breakdowns, so neither mentally or physically strong.
But something similar to her problem has come out in your life.
Very. I'm very concerned about it.
Do you figure something psychological?
No, I feel...
Well, you're different. You're saying you're different from your mother now? You have the same problem, but for different reasons?
No. I think what's happening to me in my life now, I'm not able to handle it anymore. I'm breaking down. I'm falling apart. I don't know how else to explain it.
It's a huge problem. And it's a very serious problem. What I'm getting at is, why do you drink? If you know, how long have you known that this is wrong for you?
Probably since I was 17, 18.
Yeah.
That I knew that it was a problem.
What, 37 now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So almost 20 years.
20 years. So you know it's wrong. Why are you doing it?
To be honest, I really don't know.
But you have some guesses on why your mother continues to do it.
And I've got guesses as to why I continue.
Give me one of your guesses. See how it looks.
Fear of admitting that I can't control it.
Fear of admitting
to myself that I can't control something.
Control it. Right. So
I can't just enjoy a couple of drinks and be fine with it. I want to get drunk. Mm-hmm. I have some problems where I drink my pain away occasionally. Mm-hmm. Mentally, I get very lonely, so I drink my loneliness away.
So you drink to have a party, and you drink because you're alone.
I drink for all different reasons, for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to help to get this up front is the why of it all. because it's a mystery to you at this point.
Yeah, really.
It really is a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, I come home and I want to have a drink and I keep telling myself it's just to just mellow me out, put me at an even keel, and I'm fine. You know. Then there are times when I come home, I'm angry and I want to drink myself to oblivion so that I can forget about it. Then there's times where I come home where I'm, you know, I'm depressed, so I get drunk. All sorts of reasons.
You just drink because you're bored?
I don't know. I can't actually put a situation in
Well,
my head
there's
that I've done that
nothing
way.
really bad happening, and
Yeah.
you just decide to drink.
Maybe that's when I just decide to have a couple of highballs. You know, the way I look at it, I come home and it's been a good day, everything's fine. And
Good day.
I just want to get myself at that little even keel
That's it.
again.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, there
That's
it is
a
again.
normal day.
Good times, bad times. Drink when to be sociable. Drink when you're lonely. In sickness and health.
Yes.
Till death do you part.
No.
No.
I'm not going to let it happen that way.
Yeah.
I want this out of my life now.
That's what we do. What have you done so far to help yourself?
I started some counseling, I think, you know, which has been somewhat helping me face some of my past and some of the reasons I drink.
I'd like to hear about this now. Some of the reasons you drink in your past.
I look at it like I try to hide from things. Maybe I try to, you know, cloud myself, cloud my memories, cloud my thoughts. If I'm thinking really negatively about what's been happening in my past, I let that come up and I'll start drinking.
Okay, can you think of something out of your past?
Loss.
Loss.
My father,
Yeah.
you know, committing suicide.
Okay, you're thinking about that right now.
If I think about it, I want to drink. You know, I want to drink that
right
sorrow
now, just
away.
think about that right now.
Okay.
Your father committed suicide.
Mhm.
Now, do you feel like drinking right now?
No. But I'm reaching for a drink of soda.
Meaning what?
That's why I feel like I'm reaching for a drink.
Do you think that's true or not?
I think it's very true because I do feel like drinking, but I'm not going to.
In other words, because if you're thinking about your dad committing suicide right now, you want to have a drink because of that?
Not necessarily want to have a drink. I just want to drown myself so I don't have to think about it. Maybe.
Well, you're thinking. How bad is it to think about that right now?
It makes me really sad.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to drink and then try to cloud that and
it seems to you that this is one of the reasons that you're drinking.
I think that is. You know, my past has had a lot of turbulence in it, and I think about to just forget about it. I'll have a few
How many shrinks have you been to?
Oh, as a child, I was to several, but as an adult, I've only been to maybe 3 or 4.
For your drinking?
No,
How
just for
many
my
for your
mental
drinking?
health. None for my drinking. Absolutely none.
Well, you said that there was one
that I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
That I just now started, and I've let him know that my addictions, I've conquered the drugs, but I can't conquer the alcohol, and it's definitely a problem in my life. We're discussing the issues as to that.
Issues.
Yeah, why I let it be a problem.
There's certain issues that you can't deal with, so you cope with them by drinking.
I guess so. I think that's what he's, basically letting me know, and that's how I kind of see it too. Instead of coping with it and dealing with it like a man, okay, I decided to drown myself in a bottle.
This is a very popular idea. This is the psychological disease concept of addiction that you're coming out with here. And as we move along, I hope, and I think that you will very quickly see through it, that to your own satisfaction, that whatever has happened in your past, that it has very, very little, if anything, to do with your consumption of alcohol. What's your favorite drink?
Used to be rum and Coke, or beer.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty much my two.
What kind of beer?
Budweiser.
When you think about the Budweiser right now, you can imagine what it tastes like?
No.
Can?
I can if I try to, but I
go
don't.
ahead.
I can imagine it right now.
Yeah, right. If you try.
If I try, I can
It's not hard to remember.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
That's
it's
for
very
sure.
unforgettable once you've enjoyed it like we have. How many Budweisers does it take until you feel the real effect of the alcohol? How many glasses?
No, probably 3 or 4 beers.
3 or
cans.
4 cans?
Yeah.
How
before I
about the
start
first
feeling
one?
it.
Do you notice the effect from one?
Mhm.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, by the time you get halfway through your first one,
I can
something going
feel
on
something
there.
happening.
There's something going on.
Yeah, definitely. It's like
Yeah.
a mellowing out feeling to me.
Mellowing out.
Yeah.
Where do you feel it? Well, first of all, you
Kind
feel
of a little.
wait, you feel cold in your mouth.
Yes.
First of all, did you ever notice that funny cold?
Mm-hmm.
It hits bottom down here, and you can feel that cold spot.
Mm-hmm. Then it starts warming the belly up.
And it warms the belly up, and then there's a sweet kind of an embrace. It's
Right.
sort of very satisfying stuff.
And gets you a little lightheaded.
Yeah. And even just thinking about it right now, like you have a pleasant smile, and it's just you're
Thinking
kind
about
of
it, yeah.
radiating all this very positive feelings about Budweiser. It looks to me like you love to drink Bud. You just love it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've had 3 or 4, better part of a 6-pack, you start feeling something else.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel then?
Drunken.
Yeah.
The drunken feeling.
Supposing I
starts
was a
coming on.
Martian. I'm not an Earthling. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Martian. What does it feel like to get drunk?
Wow. I never even thought about that way. The feeling is possibly... Well, I always feel like I have to control my body better because I'm a little out of control.
Yeah,
balance is lost. Equilibrium's a little
That must feel
fumbly
terrible.
bumbly.
See, a Martian would
think
well,
that's not
that would
right.
be like an emergency. You'd have to have an ambulance for you because you're losing your balance and all that. But is it pleasant?
To me, at this point in my life, yes.
Yeah, and how deeply pleasant is that really?
Yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable. You know, I mean, it's pleasant and all that, but once you get to that past that spot,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, this is not comfortable anymore.
Well, so you stop drinking then, don't you?
No.
Or you don't stop drinking.
No,
Wonder why that is.
I don't know. It's just I
Wait a
keep
minute
on
now.
drinking now. Other than
If you don't know, then nobody knows. But I think you do know. You get to that point where you're feeling kind of uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And what's the purpose of the next drink?
to get past that uncomfortable feeling, you just get hammered to where I don't feel anything.
Well, did you ever get to the point where you really weren't feeling anything at all?
Mm-hmm.
Did you? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember
that-
a couple of times, but there are times where you.
In other words, there was no
remember it.
there was no sensation. You couldn't feel anything.
Oh no.
No, not that at all. But there's something. Feeling no pain
Mm-hmm.
is one thing, but what people do feel is quite another. Feeling no pain doesn't quite explain what's going on.
No.
Because you are feeling
Yes, everything.
something else.
And then also sometimes I get very weepy because of the depressant.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my own.
Yeah.
I just told you that I try to hide from the past by drinking,
Mhm.
and then as soon as I'm drunk, the past comes up, bites me in my ass. I start getting weepy, depressed, and everything else. So
Yeah.
it's a vicious circle for me, and I just want it broken. I just don't know how to stop it right now.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
In order to stop it, it's very important for you to know why you're doing it. As long as you think that you're coping with life's problems by drinking alcohol, it will be very difficult for you to stop it, because that's what you're thinking.
Yes, yeah.
That's
yeah.
what's perpetuating this thing, is that you're looking at alcohol as if it were medicine instead of something else.
And a lot of that, I guess, would stem because that's how I've looked at my mother. She's been drowning herself in her bottle, hiding from things. So I see that, I think, okay, that's why I've been
Do
programmed,
you think
possibly.
that's why she drinks?
I don't really know why. I think
when
what
she
I think
drinks,
is why she drinks is because she's just, maybe doesn't want to face who she really is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to face who she really is. She could check her driver's license anytime and find that out, couldn't she?
Yeah, but looking at her past would be. That's how I see it.
No,
if I had to look,
you said who she is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's on her driver's license.
Yeah.
You can whip it out and say, now here, that's my picture, that's my name, that's where I live, that's me. So people don't really wonder who they are unless they have very serious major medical problems and forget who literally they are. Who am I? I don't know. That's not what her problem is, though. She knows who she is. And she's drinking for a very specific reason. And it's the same reason that you drink. It's the same reason that I drank, just as crazily as you, maybe more. You don't know about me, and I don't know that much about you, but I may have had a worse problem than you. I don't know. But I know why I drank, and I know why you drink so much, too.
Basically just because I wanted to, I guess.
Because, why? I mean, you already said it's on a good day is a perfect time to drink.
It doesn't matter when.
A bad day is a perfect time to drink. If you're bored, it's a perfect time to drink. If you're mad, if you're pissed off, it's a perfect time to drink. You're depressed, perfect time to drink. You're halfway drunk, it's a perfect time to drink. If you're completely drunk, perfect time to drink. So there's a thread here going through all of this of why you drink. And you've already, I think, disclosed that pretty clearly in the radiant smiles that you have thinking about how it feels to get drunk.
I like it.
Yeah. It is that simple.
Yeah.
Can you think that simple?
Yeah, I can.
Could it be that simple?
Yes, it could be.
That you drink simply because it feels wonderful. I mean, so wonderful that our families would not understand. Does your wife drink like you do?
No, my
okay.
my
Your kids
girlfriend,
don't drink like you do.
No, gosh, no.
My family didn't either, and to this day, I don't know. I don't think that they understand why I drink. I tell them, but there's no way to explain the kind of pleasure that you and I know about. You get so far into drinking. I'll tell you what it felt like to me is that there was a very warm, sweet feeling after about 1.5, 2 drinks. Something would happen. It was like something was lighting up in my guts. Oh, that's really nice. And I think I shouldn't drink too much, but I'll have just a little bit more. Just a little more. Yeah. And it just goes down and seems to wash out the bad feelings, but I'm not just getting relief from bad feelings, I'm feeling good.
I do that.
They just do it.
I love it.
Because they like it.
Exactly.
So
I don't do it for any other reason, just because I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, a lot of people will have you think otherwise. And instead of this just lasting a few hours, I could make this last 9 months. Telling you that we're almost there, we're almost to the bottom of your problem. And once you see very clearly how your childhood transformed into your adulthood with these terrible conflicts inside of your psyche, then this crazy desire to go out and get drunk will fade away or maybe even disappear. And then you can drink like a normal person, maybe. Who knows? This is what's going on around the country. I'm very concerned about it, being a professional person myself. But the reason that people drink is something that any child can understand. When you were 7, you got drunk, and how did it feel?
I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And a voice came on in your head. I don't know if you remember that or not. Something to the effect, I want to do that again.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. A voice said, this is what it's all about.
And it said, when can I do it again?
You will do it again.
Yeah.
When can I?
When do I get the chance
How
to?
soon can I do it again? I want to do it and do it and do it. This is what it's all about. You know what this is, of course.
Yes.
What?
The alcoholism.
Well, this is what's it? This is what it's all about. This is what blank is all.
The feeling.
Yeah, this is what blank is all about.
The feeling's all about.
This is what life is all about.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah,
life is all
there's a
about.
voice.
This is what I'm saying to myself. This is what life is all about. Getting that high, getting
That's
that
it.
feeling. I
Yeah.
see.
This
I
is
see.
what life, and it's a voice that is, you give birth to this voice in your head through repeated exposure to alcohol and becoming deeply drunk. Not just a couple, but really getting into it so that you have that deep, full body experience of drunkenness from head to toe. You're just drunk. And the further you go into that, the more gratified your body is. Even though you may not like where you're going,
I feel like crap
your
sometimes.
body doesn't give a shit. It says, drink, it's good for you, drink more. Drink. And this is the voice. It's a voice in your head that perpetuates your addiction and directs your entire life in such a way that you will continue to drink, no matter what the consequences are. Do you get the picture?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Did you ever suspect anything kind of like this?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know.
I just never wanted to. It's always because I was packed. My head was packed full of all these other excuses. There's so many other reasons why you drink,
Yeah.
And you need help, and we can take care of
We
it.
need help.
You'll be in there for the next 10 years, maybe the next 30, 80 years of your life. You'll be battling this all your life.
Yes, yes.
And
And in the meantime,
packed full of it.
All right. In the meantime, while you're battling it, what are you doing?
Never finding out the truth of why I drink.
And drinking.
Yeah, you keep on falling off the wagon.
Relapse is a normal part of recovery.
That's what they keep saying.
That's what
everybody
they
says.
keep saying. They
Yeah.
tell you at the treatment centers. They say that in the groups.
But why could I quit the drugs and I can't quit the alcohol?
Well, you're
'Cause I
suggesting
finally-
that there's a difference between
There's
drugs
none.
and alcohol.
There's absolutely none. I realize that.
Yeah.
But I was
So
able to say,
does
I
that
don't
answer
like
the question?
that. I just didn't like the feeling anymore.
Wait, you say, why could I quit the drugs and not the alcohol? No, they're all the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So did you quit the drugs?
No, I guess
No,
not.
you're still
I'm just using a
addicted to a
different
drug.
type.
And your body doesn't ultimately care too much which drug.
Hmm.
And you can be on cocaine and heroin and all the rest of them and alcohol, as long as you end up with one of them, preferably your favorite one. But it doesn't even have to be your favorite one. Anything that can get you buzzed will do the trick. When I say this is simple, I really mean that self-recovery through addictive voice recognition technique is very, very simple. In fact, all that we're going to be doing here is explaining, all I will be doing is explaining it over and over and over how ultimately simple this really is. It's extremely simple. There's nothing to it, ultimately.
You know what? I might have tried to fool myself. Okay, I've told myself I'm going to quit, but I just don't because I still like to drink.
It seems to me that you feel both ways about the very same thing. On one hand, you have a desire to quit drinking and get drugs and alcohol completely out of your life because you want better things than those substances have to offer. And as a matter of fact, as long as you use them, those better things, you can lose it and not get nearly as much of the good stuff if you do. So you would like to get on with it and put them out of your life. But on the other hand, you'd like to keep drinking forever till death do you part. There's a part of you that can see yourself through till your dying day and fully accepts that you would live under a bridge. It's just there.
I can never accept that.
You couldn't, but this part of you
Yeah.
can see yourself through to the very end. And there's nothing that will stand in its way.
I'm going to stand in this way, damn it.
You are, but as far as it's concerned, it doesn't give a shit about your family, your kids, or anything else, and it's already proved that.
Yeah.
We call this desire, this insane desire to keep on drinking, when you already have a problem with drinking. We call this desire the beast. We've been very careful to use a word that hits the nail directly on the head. You're a human being, but you're an animal as well. You have an animal side to your nature, and you do the same things to survive that any animal does.
Mm-hmm.
You eat, you have sex, you breathe air, you have bodily functions that are truly necessary
Mm-hmm.
for you to survive. If you don't do them, you will die. If you don't breathe, you'll die. And if everybody stops having sex, there's no more people.
Right.
And this desire, we call this desire to drink in the face of self-destruction, the beast, because it is ruthless. It's a survival drive. A survival drive that is associated with intense pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
When you're hungry, and I'm sure that by now you're starting to get a little bit hungry, food becomes very satisfying. We're going to have some good food after a bit, and it'll be delicious. It may not be the greatest food in the world, but whatever it is going to be delicious because that's how hungry you are.
Right.
And when you eat, it'll be deeply pleasurable. Deeply. You may be able to talk while you're doing it, but sometimes it gets so pleasurable that people just shut up and go.
Mm-hmm.
And they just get kind of carried away in the pleasure of eating.
Oh, good.
Sex is a pleasure drive, and it overcomes your better judgment. It does, and it can cause a lot of trouble.
Yes, it sure can.
When it overcomes judgment. Breathing is a very urgent survival drive. And if you're low on air or living down in Los Angeles, breathing fresh air is very pleasurable. Yeah. Then you get a big hit of oxygen. It's intoxicating. It just feels wonderful to feel gratified for oxygen. If you swim underwater for a long time and you hit the surface, and it's wonderful, deeply gratifying. And all these survival drives have this one thing in common, and that is the deep, deep, indescribable pleasure. So the beast being connected to pleasure, the way it is a ruthless part of you. And like I've said a couple of times now, it really doesn't give a shit about anything that you love, even your life. It will take you to whatever extreme it has to go in order to survive, because it is survival. Pleasure-driven survival. We do some animal talk in rational recovery because, well, we're party animals. You've heard that expression. Party animal. And when you've been drunk, maybe somebody has already called you a beast. I don't know. I was called a beast.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You animal, you beast. By people who observe what we fall into. And it's a very good word to help us understand that we have an inner enemy inside of us that's very easy, by the way, to defeat once we know what it is. Until we know what it is, it can kill us. Drunk people are dangerous.
Very.
But this animal force to experience the intense pleasure is very, very strong, just like the sex drive, the eating drive, the breathing drive, and so forth. Now, if this room, supposing we had it all taped up, and there's no new oxygen now, and we have a problem now, we can't get out, and it's all taped up, what are we going to do? I think for a while, maybe 15 minutes, we might be very creative and have a little committee meeting and scratch our heads and make plans and let's cooperate and all that. But if we discovered that there was a little leak of fresh air coming in, and only one person could survive on it, we might start to compete with it. And we might look at each other as somebody to stand on to get at the air. That's how we begin to view our fellow being. These are survival drives.
Right.
Not to say that we don't have the ability to sit down in the corner and say, I'm not going to compete. You get the air and I'll pass on this one. We have the capacity, but when we're in the grip of the survival impulses that we have, we'll compete and get involved in very primitive behavior to survive. That's kind of what's going on with the addictive voice in our head. It will plan out ways for us to continue drinking long after our moral judgment says this is wrong.
Yeah, plan out, that's for sure.
It's got it all planned out.
'Cause I certainly held out sometimes. I don't know where it comes from either.
Where what comes from?
Well, the whole thing where I say, I'm going to stop.
Mhm.
I'm going to stop right now.
Yeah.
And then it's all of a sudden, oh, I got time for one more before I have to go to bed.
Yeah. And it seems like you.
Yeah.
Is that you?
No.
What
Because
is it?
I'm not wanting to do this.
Okay.
I
now-
know I don't.
Okay.
I know I want to stop this.
See, there's this example that you've given here is very good. I am not going to drink anymore. Then the other voice says, in effect, oh yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in and uses the pronoun I. Oh, I am. And there you go. As long as it has the use of the pronoun I, then it can function. The addictive voice, there's going to be a little bit of memory work here. We have a definition for the addictive voice. It's any thinking that supports any future use of alcohol or drugs. Any thinking that supports any future use of alcohol or drugs. So when we define the addictive voice this way, all of a sudden we have a way to recognize it. It ain't me anymore. I am defining it. Once I have a definition, I can recognize it using that definition. And once the pronoun once I define it and recognize it, it obviously isn't me. I am me, and I recognize it. It. So I mentioned before, we're like two people. You are two psychological beings. On one hand, you want to quit. And that's sincere. There's no doubt in my mind at all that you sincerely want this stuff out of your life. And you want to function as a normal human being who simply never drinks and has a ball in your own chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on the other hand, there's this whole other mentality over here, a whole persona that fully intends to keep on drinking until you drink yourself out of this life.
Mm-hmm.
The question is which one will dominate, which one will prevail.
It's got to be me.
That's what we do here. And
I can't accept any other way.
yeah, and because you want this, it's a slam dunk. I think I used that expression on the telephone with you. This is a slam dunk. This is a thing that, okay, you say you want it, and you want it rather bad. You add that all up. This is easy. There's very little struggling. There's a little bit of a struggle, but not much. And when you do it, it's rigged. The whole thing is rigged for you to win. It hasn't got a chance. Using the methodology that we call addictive voice recognition technique. You can see now the meaning of the words a little more clearly.
Right.
Addictive voice recognition. Oh, there's a technique involved. It's a very It's like
It's finding. It's like you said. It's the person who plans the next drink is not the one that I am. It's
Yeah.
the it.
that ain't you. There's one caution. You are responsible for everything that it talks you into doing.
Yes.
And this is not a devil made me do it type
No,
of,
it can't be.
This is you. And the AVRT is a gimmick. It's not a form of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a form of counseling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a form of addiction treatment either, because you've had addiction treatment.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like addiction treatment.
Mm-hmm.
This is a totally different thing. Addictive voice recognition technique, AVRT, is the wisdom and the lore of self-recovered people. This has been pulled together over the last 15 years from direct contacts with thousands of self-recovered people, people who have been struggling with it, people who long ago recovered, and we say, how did you do that? You say you quit 15 years ago all by yourself, and you went to groups for a while, and then you quit and never went back to groups. So how did you do this? And they all say the same thing. They say, well, I made a decision that there was no room in my life for any more. That's the end of it. And then I heard this voice in my head talking to me. And I began to recognize that this is my enemy inside. Some people call it Louie, some people call it the monkey on my back, some people call it all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there, it's real, and it has a very profound effect on people who love to drink. It just opens the gate to endless drinking and worse and worse problems. When we recognize it, we get the upper hand and very quickly defeat it. So that recovery is something that can be telescoped into a very, very short time, a matter of hours, a couple days, something like that. Complete recovery. You were in treatment programs?
Yeah, a couple of different ones. There was, well, I've tried AA. Okay.
How many AA meetings?
Al-Anon.
How many AA meetings have you been to?
Probably in my entire life, I'd say 50.
50 meetings?
Mm-hmm.
That's a snootful. How many times did you call yourself an alcoholic?
Every time. I've called myself an alcoholic for years.
What's an alcoholic?
Without being, a person who cannot stop drinking, period. That's the way I look at it. I cannot stop drinking because I won't let myself for some reason or another.
How could we conclude that a person cannot stop drinking?
Only because I wouldn't let myself. I was not stopping. That's when I considered myself an alcoholic. I was not stopping. I could not control it anymore.
This is an odd thing. Now, this is pernicious because you're saying, because I didn't quit
Mm-hmm.
by a certain period of time, that proved that I couldn't quit. Because if I could have quit, I would have. But I didn't, so I can't.
That's the attitude that everybody gives you. You're an alcoholic if you cannot quit.
If you could have, you would have.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't. So you can't. If you could have, you would have. But you didn't, so you can't. So you're stuck.
There you go. It's a vicious circle, yeah.
Vicious is hardly the word. It's lethal. This is poison, absolute poison to an addicted person to say, if you could have quit, you would have quit. But you didn't quit, so you can't.
And they
that
keep
proves
telling
that you're powerless.
You can't do it unless you get help. Somebody to be there for you, a group, and that's what I hated.
Who'd you meet at the groups?
Nobody I even cared to talk to. I was one of these
People
kind of
you would
guys
not
that'd sit in
pick
the
as
back.
friends,
Oh,
yeah.
never.
Yeah.
Never. The personalities irritated me because of the fact that they were admitting to themselves they couldn't do it for themselves on their own.
All of them say, I cannot help myself.
Right.
And you're supposed to get help from those people?
Yeah. That's kind of the way I looked at it, Jack. It's like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
What can you do for me if you cannot even do it for yourself?
Well, why did you go to that group in the first place?
I guess it all started because I was forced to because of I was arrested for drugs, possession of drugs.
So the government,
the state forced me to go
the
to
state
AA.
of California,
Yes.
forced you to go to Alcoholics
Yes,
Anonymous and
because
hang
it's-
out with people who can't help
Right.
themselves?
And that's the ridiculous part of it. It's totally ridiculous. And they
Totally
endorse
ridiculous.
this entire system. through the prison systems, through the jailhouse systems,
Yeah.
and even on prisoners out on parole, they're forced to go to these meetings.
Yeah.
Or else you violate your parole.
I think you're seeing something here of major
Yes.
importance in our society, that we have literally taken the beast. We've promoted the beast to a position of power.
I can see that now.
Yeah.
I was seeing it then, but I wasn't knowing the proper terminology as you're teaching me right now at this time. And the voice recognition thing. Okay, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because that voice is inside my head
Of course you can.
every day. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to work my full day, 8-hour day, and you know what? Come 5 o'clock, I'm going to have a highball, man.
Yeah, that's it.
That's that voice.
That's the
beast. That's the part of me.
That's the beast. That's the addictive voice.
You know what? I have heard that guy so many times.
Yeah.
So many times, Jack.
Yeah, and it's very urgent.
Yes.
It always has a lot of...
Oh, yeah. He says, you make sure you do this. You make sure you have enough time in your day to get my bottle down.
That's right. Because that comes first.
Yeah. Yeah, first walk into the door.
Yeah.
Throw everything to the side and pour a drink.
Fuck the world. Right.
Yeah. The thing is, the reason I'm here is because I've done everything in my life on my own, Jack.
Yeah.
Nobody ever helped me.
I'm going to be chatting along with you like this for a few more hours. But I can tell you right now that there is no help for you in the whole universe. That there is no help. And I don't really care what your beliefs are about God, whether you believe it's irrelevant for here. Because if anything, if AA has proved anything, is that God is disinterested or unable to keep human beings sober.
Damn right.
Only about 2% of the people who go there, and most of them give it a good shot. I mean, they were interested enough to turn out, but about 2% of them stay sober for very long at all. The other 98% continue to flounder and relapse and praise AA all the way to the end of the road.
And I have a friend, a very close friend that is in AA, and she swears by it. It's helped her, she thinks.
Well, does she know right from wrong, that it's wrong for her to drink?
Yes, very intelligent woman.
Okay, if you check with her the next time and ask her that, is it right or wrong for you to drink alcohol, she'll explain to you, if she's being true to AA, that this is not a moral issue, it's a symptom of a disease.
I know.
It's not a moral issue.
I don't mean to laugh about it. It's just the opposite of that. It is not a disease. I don't believe in that.
Speaking for myself, I can't, in all conscience, say that it's wrong for you to drink, but I can say that for myself. And if a person's causing great harm to other people, bringing unhappiness into their lives through drinking, I think that it should be at least a moral issue. Say, now, is this right or wrong
for you to drink?
For me to do?
Right.
If somebody says, it's morally right, that's okay with me. I have no problem for a person to say, on a moral axis, it's morally okay for me to drink. That's what I'm about. I'm a drinker, and if they don't like it, that's their problem. To hell with them. I don't care. This is my life. I will drink it away if I choose. Now bug off. That's taking moral responsibility. It's perverse. It's ugly, but it's still saying, this is right for me. This is what I'm going to do.
So long as they're not hurting anybody along the way. They're just destroying their own life.
To turn around and say, this is not even a moral issue, is cowardly. It's an insult to human decency. To say that my self-indulgence that brings misery and danger and harm to people, my self-indulgence is not a moral issue. To say that is very, I'm tempted to say sick, but we have to hold back on that kind of talk. It's immoral. It's amoral and wrong to define addiction this way as a symptom of a disease. It has no moral meaning whatsoever. It is interesting that people in AA spend years doing frequent moral inventories that are fearless moral inventories. And they're talking about moral failings in many, many, many different ways. That they think they've harmed others or wronged others, and they are constantly mea culpa, mea culpa. You notice that they're fearless moral inventories.
Uh-huh.
Do you know why they're fearless?
No, I don't.
Because they've moved drinking out of the inventory.
Mm.
See, it's not a moral issue.
Yeah, yeah.
We do moral inventories until we're blue in the face.
Right.
Until the cows come home, we do moral exercises.
So the
This
issue with
is
alcohol
not
is
wrong.
not, oh boy.
This is not wrong for us to drink. We have relapses. Relapses are a normal part of recovery. This is not morally wrong for us to be drinking when we have 3 DUIs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not immoral for me to slosh it down anymore. It's a symptom of my disease. I mentioned earlier that there's an awful lot in the American culture, in our society, that makes it practically impossible for people like you and me or anybody to knock it off. There's no expectation by anybody that you stop it. You don't really expect yourself to stop it.
Yes, I do.
You want yourself to stop
I
it.
expect it to stop too.
Yeah.
No.
When, right now?
No, soon.
Soon. There it is.
Yes, I do.
You want yourself to
I
stop it.
expect it to stop too.
Yeah.
No.
When, right now?
No, soon.
Soon. There it is. We got you. There, now,
I don't want to be defeatist, though.
Interrupt. I got to put the mirror on here and send it back to you. That was early in the game. I'm going to do this right down to the wire with you. Your addictive voice attacked. Said, not now. Don't say never now. I said, you don't expect yourself, I said. Oh, yes, I do. And I said, well, when? Now? No, later. There it is. That's the addictive voice. You don't really expect yourself to stop it.
Yes, I do.
You want yourself to stop it.
I expect it to stop too.
Yeah.
No.
When, right now?
No, soon.
Soon. There it is. No matter how desperately you want this out of your life, it intrudes just that way. Just the way you heard it. Just the way you can see it playing back. This is big stuff. This is really big stuff because it talks through your mouth. You can hear it in the room when you talk. Your addictive voice is all over the place. It's a feeling. Beasts have feelings. The closer we get to the end stage, the kill, you'll feel this thing dying. You'll feel it cringe. You'll fear it, and you'll feel the fear inside. Because no matter how much you hate this whole thing that has you drinking, it intends to survive, and it has a big plan for you. A big plan for you. And its plan is that you will drink, because that's what you must do. It's a shrewd son of a bitch. It comes out of both sides of your mouth. It sneaks out. In a very short time, you'll discover that it's very conspicuous. And it can't express itself without you taking note. To me, it's like a beach ball.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it, it's just amazing.
To me, it's just still hidden.
It's still coming out, and it will for a while. But when it does, we don't want you to. We don't care if we hear it. We don't want to silence it because it's the force of life. The beast within you is the force of life that keeps you on the planet. You don't want to lose the desire. It'll fade on its own accord. But the name of the game here in AVRT is not to get rid of the desire, which is what addiction treatment is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're simply finessing it, like do you play bridge or chess or something? All right. In bridge and chess, these are finesse moves where you see the force, you see the game, and you finesse. And it's effortless. It's very easy to win once you know the rules of the game. You already know one, the I-it.
Yeah.
I am one person.
Mm-hmm.
I am Jack, you are Tom. Yet within me, there's a mentality, there's a desire, which is against everything that I stand for.
So recognizing this as I go through my everyday life, just recognizing it is going to help me to stop it.
No.
To stop.
Recognizing
To.
recognizing the addictive voice, it puts your beast into an impotent condition. The beast, up until today, has been running roughshod over you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pushing your nose in the dirt, and you go fetch booze, and you willingly go out there and fetch it booze. After today, it's different. You'll hear it, and it'll say, "Go fetch booze," and you just simply hear it. That's all. You don't need to talk back to it. You don't need to argue with it. You just simply hear it.
What about the physical part of the addiction? Is that still going to be there? The withdrawals from it, or is that just one of those damn things? It's just the beast saying, "Hey, screw you! You know, if you don't drink right now, I'm going to make you feel like crap." Is that?
When was your last drink?
Oh shoot! Last night.
Yeah.
I had 3 drinks. So
what would the physical addiction be like for you? What do you imagine?
I have no idea. I'm just asking you now. Is that?
But it's coming up now as a concern.
Yes, because it's a beast that's screaming out here right now. I'm recognizing what's happening.
Okay.
He's screaming.
I'm
now, am I going to need to drink? Is the beast saying, my need is going to be there still? I'm still going to be screaming at you to drink?
Now, see, this is the two people here. You are two mentalities.
Yeah.
This is a perfect
They're
example.
going to battle right now, right in front of you.
Right here. Well, you got it.
God.
Okay. Now, you know damn well.
Yeah.
You've had hangovers.
Hell yes, I've had hangovers.
Yeah. And you know that a hangover has a half-life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know, 1 day is typical. 2 days you feel half as bad.
Mm-hmm.
3 days you're on. That's the worst of the worst. You're not even going to have any hangover.
To the hell with that
Are you going to have a hangover?
No.
Do you have one now?
No.
How could you get one in the future?
I won't.
You won't.
No.
No. But your beast
is screaming, yeah, I'm going to make you have a hangover. I'm going to make you feel like crap.
Yeah.
So you'll have that.
You're going to die. You get DTs and die.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our society. This is the collective addictive voice.
Freaking brainwashing game out there.
There is a
people,
big
you
one.
know?
Right. Courtesy of the government of California, the federal government that funds this
that they
poison.
dump into Al-Anon, AA, NA, what a farce. You know, they're both just
all the same thing.
Yeah,
all the
same
thing.
exact programs.
There's something that I have to draw to your attention now, because we're to that point. In addition to your bona fide addiction, you have an addiction to alcohol. You have another problem. We call it a recovery group disorder. Now here's the nitty-gritty. AA was dreamed up by two irresolute drunks, Bill W. and Dr. Bob. By irresolute, I mean that they had not decided that they would not drink anymore. They got together and said, if I could, I would have, but I didn't, so I can't. That's the beginning of AA. If I could, I would have, but I didn't, so I can't. I'm powerless. And they dreamed up an ersatz religion, and they used God and a whole lot of nice-sounding things that they borrowed from legitimate religions.
Mm-hmm.
And they even got some clergy to put the stamp on it. Put the stamp on it. Yeah, Frank Buckman, Dr. Shoemaker, and a number of others put their stamp of the clergy's approval for whatever reasons. And there is a code within AA. I call it the Code of the Beast. And the Code of the Beast goes like this. There will be no moral injunctions. There will be no moral judgment upon the act of drinking alcohol. This is not a moral issue. And when people continue to drink, we will always be entirely accepting of them. We will never be critical of a person for drinking. Other things, yes. Criticizing AA, yes. We'll be very, very hard on people who criticize AA because they are evil. So you have here a 12-step program that starts out with the most preposterous idea. When I first saw it, I was in a church basement in Detroit. They handed me this card with the 12 steps on. I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Powerless.
You're powerless over it. You got to admit that you're powerless over the power of alcohol. I could not believe it.
But on the other hand, you couldn't, but you went and proved it over the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
You come here years and years later.
Mm-hmm.
And if you weren't powerless, what the hell are you doing drinking? You say you don't want to drink, but you do. Doesn't that prove something? Well, let me ask you this to try to get through what the point here. Supposing AA is right. Just supposing here. That after when it's all said and done, you are powerless over your desire to go out and get shit-faced drunk. Okay, you've got that in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on one hand, that's a pretty bad thing for you, right?
Yes.
But on the other hand, what does that mean?
It means it's good for AA.
No,
You're going to need them.
No. There's another part of you, too, here, hiding in the corner. Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
What does Mr. Beast
keeps
think?
him in alcohol if I'm powerless.
You got it. It keeps Mr. Beast in booze.
Right.
So when you hear that, I'm powerless over the desire to get drunk.
It's a good thing for the beast to hear.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for the beast. It's very bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard for people to say, I'm powerless over this. But see, behind their admission of powerlessness is a smirking presence that says, yeah, you are powerless. You are powerless. You are an alcoholic. You suffer from a disease. You're congenitally inferior. You're defective.
I don't believe any of that.
A lot of people do. And you've heard this a good number of times, even to the point of having it told to you by doctors, psychologists, counselors. And there's a credibility to it. Saying, I'm a pretty bright guy, but I fell for it at one level. On one hand, I could see this is utter nonsense. This is poison. But on the other hand, why am I drinking? Why do I continue to drink? Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. The psychological mumbo-jumbo that you were uttering when you first started here, coping with life's problems, is just the same old thing. I'm drinking for hidden reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It's really beyond my immediate control because I'm coping with life's problems. Don't you understand? You see? Medical disease, psychological disease, same old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
I don't get it really at this point. It sounds to me like you're saying that I'm powerless over the alcohol, but at the same time, I know that I'm not.
This is voluntary behavior. You're not powerless.
But I've been told this for so many years.
That it has a deep impression.
Yes.
It makes a deep impression so that you will undertake general self-improvement in the hopes that your desire to get drunk will be reduced as a symptom. Because
Okay.
the shrink is saying, now this is a symptom.
Yeah.
Oh, you had traumas and you had all this suffering and all that. You
Right.
poor thing. And it's understandable that you would be medicating your bad feelings. Now we're going to examine all these past traumas that you've had so that you won't feel compelled to go out and destroy yourself by drinking 19 Budweisers. Maybe you'll need 12 Budweisers. They'll mitigate this. Did your shrink say, you know, what would you think about knocking it off, just quitting?
No, he'd always try to recommend you just, slow down.
Slow down.
Get into a program.
Get into a program. He didn't say, why don't you knock it off?
No. Why don't you just stop? I'd love to hear that from one of those professionals one day.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
This is
They
the
always
problem.
tell you need something else besides yourself to do it. And that's what I've not believed all my life.
Yeah.
I can't accept that.
However, you have registered
All I've been told.
You have registered as a client
Mm-hmm.
for addiction treatment.
Yes.
Which is, if actions speak louder than words,
Yes.
it would indicate here that you see that you are powerless
Mm-hmm.
to directly intervene on your own behalf.
Right.
That's the point here. To directly say, I'm in control here, and I'm not going to do that anymore. And that is the real end of it.
Right. Every time I tried to get there, they would direct me into another treatment program that was telling me I can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
And that's what never got me there.
Exactly.
I need to be able to believe in myself and say that, yes, I can do this, without everybody and their brother out there in those treatment programs telling me you can't do it by yourself.
Better yet, I have done this.
Yes.
So instead of saying I can do it,
I have done it in
Yeah.
my life
Yeah.
with
Just-
other
okay,
situations.
we're going to very quickly get you into the past tense where you can say to anyone, this is something I've taken care of.
Mhm.
It's a done deal. Let me ask you a question that it'll be coming up again and again and again. But given all that you know about alcohol and so forth, I guess you've decided that this is wrong for you to do, to drink.
I have not decided it's wrong.
You haven't?
No. There were things that I've done when I was drinking that it was wrong,
Yeah.
immoral, things I have done that I am not proud of. I've decided I don't want this in my life. That's where I'm at right now. That's how I feel right now. As to the wrong thing, I'm telling myself, and here we go, that little beast is telling me, you're not out there killing people and getting DUIs. You're not out there beating up people in bars. You're sitting at home and having a few highballs. What's wrong with that? Okay? I know there's something wrong with that in my life right now.
You're basically saying this is not a moral issue. This is a very deep root here. We're touching on something really sensitive. It's a deep root, and we call this your recovery group disorder. Because of your exposure to recovery group values that are made popular by Betty Ford and Larry King and Oprah Winfrey and everybody on the airways is talking this way, it hasn't occurred to you that if you drink and your conduct routinely deteriorates to that of an animal, that it's wrong to drink. It hasn't occurred to you.
No, it hasn't. And if you put it that way, it is definitely wrong for me. This is not something that is right for my life.
Okay, let me ask you to burrow a little deeper into this. If it's wrong, how wrong is it in the order of things? I mean, some things are a little bit wrong, and some things are just big time wrong.
I would say it'd be big time wrong because it can escalate from a small wrong to a terrible wrong in a matter of minutes. One drink.
Yeah, I can't answer this for you, but I told you a little bit about myself, that if I drink alcohol, maybe nothing bad will happen right away,
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, there's a likelihood that I'll tie one on. I have a very nasty sense of humor, and I get dangerous in just a social situation. Not that I would beat anybody up, although who knows what I'll do. I might drive a car. I did that a lot. So I get dangerous to other people's well-being. I'm a danger. And the only time I'm really that way is when I've been drinking. And see, my moral judgment becomes obliterated under the influence of alcohol.
I see what you're saying. If I drink 5, 6 drinks, and I go out there and I'm out of booze and I want to go up to the store, that's morally wrong for driving up to that store. It is bad. It's the wrong thing to do, I think.
Well, see, then your moral judgment is already impaired.
Yes.
By the earlier drinks that you had. So it's the earlier drinks that were morally wrong.
Right.
Because they rendered you into a senseless idiot.
Right. So I'm understanding what you're meaning by the wrong definition.
If we keep following the thread back, the prime mover is
that one drink.
To drink.
Right.
Anything, because, as you said, a half a can, and you're already feeling the jollies that come with it. The jollies.
So now going back to the question, is it wrong for me to drink?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
How wrong?
Very wrong.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of like me, because I can't think of anything worse that I could do.
I can be such a terrible person, and I don't want that.
Exactly. You don't want to be that way.
No, I don't.
I don't want to be that way, but I have been.
And the moral thing, like that you've explained to me, it is a moral issue. It is not just a disease. It's not a disease, damn it. It's not.
It's not. I mean, not even by a stretch.
Hell no.
But we have thousands of scientists paid by the government to try to figure out what kind of a disease it is. They don't even know yet.
No, exactly. Well, a disease to me is something that alcohol can give you, cirrhosis of the liver. But it's not the disease itself. Alcohol is not the disease. And if the first drink I drink is the wrong one, not the ones after. The first drink.
It is. Because the decision to have the second drink is made under the influence of the first drink.
I feel like a weight, just in this little bit of time we've been sitting here talking, I feel just like so much has been lifted. Not saying that this has helped me immediately here, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like the information is so important to me.
No, this is
And I'm starting to see this beast come out.
Yeah. You got it now. Yeah. You're starting to see something truly ugly in your own character.
Yeah.
Which is the part of you that says, it's not a moral issue.
Yeah. And the constant lying to myself.
Yeah.
It was the beast lying, it's me, but still I know that.
Yeah.
But it's that part of me, the alcoholic part of me, the alcohol drinking part beast that's coming out and saying, hey, I'm going to lie about this because I want that next drink, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop me from getting that next drink.
That's it.
So you're going to rationalize it and make it work for you, whether you like it or not, because I want that next drink. I'm not going to let that happen anymore.
This will be easier than you think at this point. We're going to close in on it very, very swiftly. By this time tomorrow, you'll be completely, totally recovered. How does it feel to think that?
It makes me feel very, almost, it just makes me feel so good that this is possible.
Oh yeah, I know. It's a very deeply emotional experience to finally start seeing
how I lied to myself. How I let myself lie to myself for so many to have that next drink.
Yeah, you had a lot of help.
Yeah.
You had a whole fellowship of liars. The fellowship of
all
indecision.
Sitting there lying to themselves, letting the beast run their lives.
It's the fellowship of indecision. The people in AA live in a purgatory of indecision, never knowing.
No.
One way or the other.
If they're ever going to be able to quit.
There, but by the grace of God, go on.
Yeah. Until I never knew anything about you in your book. Never knew anything about you, but a person from AA gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
That swears by AA, that read your book, and could not understand it or accept it because they've never done anything on their own for themselves, any part of their life.
You know, they always needed somebody else.
There's more to it than, it's not that they...
No,
They
I'm
were
not trying to-
crippled.
Yes.
See, I insist that your friend, who may not have ever comprehended this, was crippled by the cult doctrines of Alcoholics Anonymous, and believes that AA is the foundation of life. Now, it's really strange once we start turning the tables on this, because we've already said that the beast is a creature of survival, and that it believes that the addictive voice is necessary to sustain its life. AA is the embodiment of the beast. The things that go on there are the addictive voice, and the people there come to believe that it's sustaining their lives to live this way, constantly undecided about whether they will drink in the future or not. It's an amazing insight that very few people can see. We can see it because we talk a language. We think in terms of AVRT. Any thinking that supports any future use of alcohol, well, my goodness, we'll start with the 12-step program. Powerless, waiting for God to restrain our elbows? There's something wrong with this picture, big time. But in America, the illusion is rather complete, with all the media and all the celebrities all lined up saying this is wonderful, this is the only thing that works, we are powerless, and pretty soon the public believes the big lie. And the ones who suffer most are people like
people in the program,
like you,
myself,
people who are wasting their lives, endangering the public.
And staying in that program, I was crippled by it definitely, because I kept on thinking that, man, I am powerless over this. They're convincing me of it, Jack.
There it is.
I was being convinced of it, and I thought, but damn it, I know I'm strong enough to beat this in another way.
This is the two-ness of it. You were afraid that it might be true.
Yeah, I couldn't accept it.
Your beast would whisper to you and say, you
got to keep doing this because this is the only way.
These people know what they're talking about because they're the ones that survived. They're the ones who are making it. They must be right. All the doctors say that they're right. Who are you
to deny it?
To deny it. Who are you? And they say this during meetings. Who are you to deny what we're saying? Now, the interesting thing is that there are more of us than there are of them. We are self-recovered people. When people recover from very serious addictions, they do so for good reasons, and they disappear. They become anonymous. The truly anonymous people are the ones who are quitting by themselves this way, the way that we do it here. They've had it. They see the writing on the wall. I don't want to go there. I will quit once and for all time. Not one day at a time.
No.
It's the worst way to quit anything you love.
Exactly, because you're still telling yourself there's a possibility that I'm going to have that drink. Exactly.
Tomorrow night.
They even get down to the point of minute at a time, in some of those meetings. I could not believe it. You've got to live 1 minute at a time. If you think you're going to reach for that drink, that's that 1 minute you're going to not do it. And that was such a lie.
Yeah.
It was such a lie. It was just nothing but telling yourself. Yes.
It's torture.
Yes.
Because the beast is struggling, and they talk about white-knuckling this.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, I can tell you right now that when you leave here, when you finish this, you will not white-knuckle ever. This is effortless.
Yes.
AVRT.
It's going to be a piece of cake for me to walk out there.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of the things I want to be able to beat so badly is not feeling uncomfortable around other drinkers. I don't like that because I don't want to have the drink. I still feel uncomfortable around them. That's how I feel now. But when I know I can walk out of here tonight, just with a little bit of information you've given me, and I can sit there and watch my brother drink himself to oblivion without even craving that drink, because I'll know what's craving it. It won't be the I.
Not you.
That's right. And I'll know that that's why, and it won't be a problem.
Okay, let's finish here and get some food. And we're going to pick up in about a half an hour, 45 minutes.